Welcome back to TPS. It's that time of the year. Football is on the way. Madden has released its player ratings. You know what that means. It's time for us, like the NFL players themselves, to complain about ratings. Only we're not here to complain about players receiving unfair and low ratings. We're here to look at the most overrated player from every team in Madden 21. At TPS, we post videos every single day, so don't forget to click the subscribe button to subscribe. Then click the notification bell to be notified when we post a new video. Arizona Cardinals Patrick Peterson, 88. Yes, Peterson is an 8-time Pro Bowler and a lock for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but Peterson wasn't anything close to dominant in 2019. He missed 6 games due to suspension. In 10 games, Peterson allowed a 65.8 completion percentage when targeted and 4 touchdowns, and Pro Football Focus graded him at 68.6 for 2019. Certainly not a guy deserving of an 88 rating if you ask us. Falcons Alex Mack, 89. Mack will go down as one of the best centers of his era, but the 6-time Pro Bowler didn't look like his usual self last season. Mack committed 9 penalties and allowed 2 sacks in 2019. For PFF, who graded him at only 72.1. Looked like Madden rated Mack on his entire body of work over the past few years, more so than the player he is today. Ravens Sam Cook, 85. Cook has been the Ravens punter since 2006, and with all due respect to his longevity and career, almost no punter should receive a rating this high. And it's not like Cook is a perennial Pro Bowl or anything. He only has 1 selection on his resume, nothing spectacular here. Buffalo Bills Cole Beasley, 83. The shifty Beasley turned in a fine 2019 season for the Bills. 67 receptions for 778 yards and 6 touchdowns, but the 83 rating is a little high here. That ties him with Calvin Ridley and Larry Fitzgerald, and it puts Beasley ahead of DJ Chark, who's simply a better receiver all around. So yeah, the Madden makers were just a bit too generous here. The Panthers, Kawan Short, 87. The 2-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle missed all but 2 games in 2019 due to a season-ending shoulder injury. We're not sure that Short will be able to quickly bounce back from a serious injury and regain that top-notch form he displayed 2 years ago. It looks like Madden rated Short based on his 2018 season, and this isn't Madden 2019. Chicago Bears Eddie Goldman, 84. Goldman has performed nicely on the Bears defensive line, but 84 is a bit high now, isn't it? His numbers aren't exactly eye-popping, and PFF only graded him at 70.7 last season. There's no way he should be graded higher than teammates Roquan Smith and Robert Quinn. Bengals AJ Green, 88. Another case of grading a guy based on his career body of work. Green didn't play at all in 2019. He was limited to 9 games in 2018. How is he rated 5 points higher than teammate Tyler Boyd, the new #1 receiver in Cincinnati? Up to Green to show he still has it and that he deserves the rating. Cleveland Browns Kareem Hunt, 87. In 8 games for the Browns, Hunt had 179 rushing yards on 43 carries for 2 touchdowns. Hardly spectacular. How can a team's #2 running back receive such a high rating? Hunt is rated better than the likes of Raheem Mostert, Marlon Mack, and Leonard Fournette. We don't get it either. Cowboys Lael Collins, 87. Collins has been a steady performer on the Cowboys O-line, anchored by Zach Martin and Teron Smith. But Collins hasn't quite played at a Pro Bowl level, so the 87 rating here is a bit surprising. No Pro Bowl or All-Pro selections through 5 seasons, and I mean Collins can't be rated higher than Dak Prescott, who came in at 84. Broncos Melvin Gordon, 84. The Broncos overpaid Gordon big time in free agency, a 2-year, $16 million deal when you already have Philip Lindsay as your lead back. Alrighty then. Gordon averaged a mere 3.8 yards per carry in his final season with the Los Angeles Chargers. Gordon looked nothing like the 2-time Pro Bowler in 2019, and the Chargers were sure wise not to give into his contract demands. 84 is way too high for a guy who may only be a #2 back in 2020. Detroit Lions Trey Flowers, 86. The Lions signed Flowers to a 5-year, $90 million contract in 2019 free agency. It was quite the overpay, but he did tune in 7 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. A rating of 86, though? Still a little high for a non-Pro Bowl talent, and Flowers is graded 3 points higher than Matt Stafford. We don't understand that one either. Green Bay Packers Adrian Amos, 86. Amos turned out to be a savvy signing by the Packers in 2019. He helped solidify the secondary, recording 2 interceptions with 8 passes defended. But the 86 rating was a bit high when you consider that AMOS allowed a 70.6 completion percentage and that PFF actually graded him at 76.5 overall. Texans JJ Watt 98. The three-time Defensive Player of the Year has been hit hard by injuries over the last 4 years. Watt was limited to 3 games in 2016, to 5 games in 2017, and to 8 games in 2019, and he wasn't even that dominant last season, recording 4 sacks in those 8 games. Another case of Madden rating a player based on his career accomplishments. Watt has to be healthy for a full season and get back to that 15-20 sack range if he's to deserve a 98 rating. The Colts, Justin Houston 85. Truth be told, we're nitpicking here. The Colts' top players were all graded quite fairly. Houston, a 4-time Pro Bowler, enjoyed a solid first season with the Colts, posting 11 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 3 fumble recoveries. But his production has been so up and down in recent years, which is why we think the rating is a bit high here. If he could just be a little more consistent as a pass rusher and run stopper, we'd be fine with the 85 rating. Jaguars, Brandon LINDER 87. LINDER performed well for the Jaguars last season, allowing 0 sacks for PFF. However, he was penalized a whopping 13 times, and they graded him at only 75.3 overall. So yes, the 87 rating is way too generous here. No way LINDER should be the Jaguars' highest rated player. Chiefs, DAMIEN Williams 83. Williams really turned it on for the Chiefs in the postseason for the 2nd straight year. One can argue he should have won Super Bowl MVP over Patrick Mahomes. Williams had 2 touchdowns after all, including the game winner. But the consistent production hasn't been there to justify the 83 rating. He had just 498 yards and 5 touchdowns last year. Something closer to 79 or 81 would have made more sense. Raiders, LAMARCUS JOYNER 82. Joyner's first season with the Raiders was, well, somewhat forgettable. PFF rated him at a woeful 46.2, and he allowed a 69.4 completion percentage when targeted, as well as 4 touchdowns. But Madden is giving him an 82 rating. Folks, this isn't the 2018 version of Joyner, who was a stud for the Los Angeles Rams. This is 2020. Chargers Chris Harris Jr. 89. The Pro Bowl slot corner struggled last year when Vic Fangio moved him to the outside. Harris should fare much better with the change of scenery. The Chargers will put Harris back in his natural slot position. But Harris wasn't anything close to his dominant self last year, so the 89 rating doesn't make sense. Must we say it again? This rating is clearly based off his career resume. Rams Andrew Whitworth 86. The good folks at PFF can explain this. Whitworth was penalized 13 times last year. He was graded at 72.8. So you can see why the 86 rating is raising our eyebrows here. Whitworth showed signs of regression last year. That'll be the case again in 2020. Dolphins Byron Jones 88. The Dolphins made Jones the highest paid corner this offseason by handing him a 5-year, $82.5 million contract. They considerably overpaid Jones, and Madden considerably overrated him. Jones has 1 Pro Bowl selection on his resume and only 2 career interceptions. He's been a steady corner throughout his career, but not elite by any means. Put him closer in the 83 to 85 range, Madden makers. Vikings Cal Rudolph 84. Rudolph's role in Minnesota's offense has been reduced quite a bit over the past 3 years. He only had 39 catches for 367 yards and 6 touchdowns. Yes, he's still a premier red zone threat, but he's well past his Pro Bowl form. Indeed, his rating is way too high. Patriots, not the Hightower 88. Hightower was an anchor in the Patriots' last 3 Super Bowl championships, but his overall production has been inconsistent over the past 2 years. Yes, he had 5.5 sacks in 2019, but Hightower also allowed a 69.0 completion percentage when targeted. PFF also graded him at 69.4 overall last season. Take that as you will. Madden rated Hightower like he's a borderline Pro Bowler. Well, Hightower isn't anymore. New Orleans Saints MARSHON LATTIMORE 86. The 2017 Defensive Rookie of the Year just wasn't himself last season. Lattimore looked nothing like a pure shutdown corner, and he was burned and covered several times in the Saints' playoff loss to the Minnesota Vikings. Lattimore is still young, so he should be able to regain that top-notch form in short time, but based on last season, this guy looked nothing like an 86. New York Giants Kevin ZEITLER 85. The Giants have one of the worst offensive lines in football. At least Kevin performed at a fair level. He was only penalized twice on the season, but he did allow 3 sacks per PFF. He hasn't really played at a Pro Bowl level throughout his career, so the 85 rating is especially puzzling here. The Jets Le'Veon Bell 87. Hey, look, another high grade based on a guy's career or body of work. Folks, Bell averaged a woeful 3.2 yards per carry in 2019. That was the worst single season mark ever in franchise history for an RB with at least 150 carries. Bell finished with 789 yards and 3 touchdowns. But yeah, give him an 87 rating. This isn't the Pittsburgh version of Bell, Madden makers. Sweet revenge. What? Philadelphia Eagles outshone Jeffrey 84. Injuries have limited Jeffrey to 23 games over the last 2 seasons. He only had 43 receptions for 490 yards and 4 touchdowns last season. At this point, he's probably Philly's 3rd or 4th best receiving option. Jeffrey's going to have to stay healthy for a full season and produce in order to truly justify this rating. The Steelers, Juju Smith-Schuster 86. With Antonio Brown gone, we all thought Juju would establish himself as a legit number 1. It didn't happen. Ben Roethlisberger's season-ending elbow injury didn't help, and Smith-Schuster, who missed 4 games, tallied just 42 catches for 552 yards and 3 touchdowns. Need Juju to repeat or top that in 2018 breakout season, then we'll be on board for the 86 rating. For now, this is too high. 49ers D Ford 85. Thing is, Ford should be able to regain that Pro Bowl form provided he's healthy. 6.5 sacks in 11 games isn't terrible by any means. The 49ers surely expected more from Ford, whom they acquired by a trade with Kansas City in 2018. Ford has to be healthy and push for double-digit sacks in order to earn a rating this high. Madden is just seemingly going off his 2018 production. Seahawks Greg Olsen 86. Yes, Olsen is one of the best tight ends of this era, but injuries and age have quickly caught up to Olsen. He isn't anywhere close to being a Pro Bowler, and a move to Seattle isn't going to change that. Olsen played just 16 games over 2017 and 18. He had 52 catches for 597 yards and 2 touchdowns in 2019. So yes, the 86 rating is kind of way too high here. Buccaneers, Rob Gronkowski 95. Gronk looked well past his prime in 2018. He had clearly lost a few steps and was no longer a home run threat in the red zone. The injuries definitely took a toll on him. But 1 year away from football is going to suddenly turn him into an all-pro again? Not buying it. Keep your expectations minimal. Something Madden isn't doing. The tight ends, Jonathan Joseph 81. Props to Joseph, who's managed to play at a respectable level into his mid-30s, but he's been on quite a decline over the last 2 years. PFF graded him at just 64.0 last year, and Joseph allowed a 64.1 completion percentage when targeted. Does that sound like someone who deserves a rating of 81? Didn't think so. Washington, Kendall Fuller 86. 2 years after trading him to Kansas City, Washington brought back Fuller on a 4-year, $40 million deal. Yes, he just won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs, but where are they seeing $40 million? And where is Madden seeing a rating of 86? Fuller allowed a whopping 77.8 completion percentage when targeted last year, as well as 3 touchdowns in coverage. Oh, and PFF graded him at 61.4. Care to explain that whole 86 rating, Madden? Who do you think was the most overrated player in 21? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time to do that by hitting the subscribe button down there. If you like the video, then like the video. And last but not least, don't forget to tune into TPS every single day for more cool videos. I almost forgot what I say the same thing at every. I just rattle it out. I almost forgot. Let my accent come out today too. Big ups to Pittsburgh. I still got it. No matter where I go, I still got it. I'll see you later.